Welcome everyone, finally! Welcome back to Rimworld again. We are in beta, not alpha, beta 18, and I am excited. We're going to be starting a brand new Let's Play, obviously. Brand new setup, brand new mods, maybe not all brand new, but a lot of stuff I've been sort of fiddling around with. So, this will be episode 0 of our Let's Play. This will just be the setup one, so as with the last one, I'll take you through the mods, we'll look at our setup, what we're sort of doing, and then the start of the next episode will be the end of this one. So, let's get straight into it with the mods. What are we running with today? Hugs, Lib, and Jex tools, and miscellaneous core. They are just libraries. They don't actually do anything. In fact, I don't believe I need Jex tools, but libraries don't do anything, so they're fine. MISC training, it's one we've had before. If you want to look at any of these mods, I would recommend looking them up in the Steam Workshop. That's where I get all my mods from, so, you know, you can find them there as well. MISC robots. Now, I don't believe we played with one of these. I don't believe we've done a playthrough of it. I've done it in some new ones. Basically, it adds 2 new robots, little robots that have like a charging base station thing, and that is a hauling bot that does nothing but haul, and a cleaning bot that does nothing but clean, because those 2 jobs can be really time consuming, and they're like massive busy work, so you can palm it off to robots basically, which is really awesome. Setup camp, it's a familiar one, expanded prosthetics, we've had it before. Spoon's hair mod just adds more cosmetic stuff, same with rim hair. Cooks can refuel. Now, I don't know if we've played with any of these sort of quality of life improvements, so I'll just take you through it. Cooks can refuel, as you can see, it allows cooks to refuel any fuel-powered food production station. So, in the base game, you have to have like someone with hauling has to go over and refuel a fueled workstation, and then the cook can use it. If it's not fueled, the cook can't use it. Whereas this just changes it so that if a cook notices that the cook station's empty and he needs to cook, he'll grab wood first, fill it up, and then cook like normal. So that's really cool. More vanilla turrets, that's, again, we've played with that one before. RT Fuse, now this is a really cool one that I found. That, you know, in the game you get the random event called ZIT, and that discharges all of your current energy stored in your batteries, and it creates an explosion somewhere along your network. Well, RT Fuse creates, as you can see in the picture up here, some circuit breakers. I think you get circuit breakers and advanced circuit breakers, I believe, or something like that. There's 2 levels, and they block a certain amount of energy, or a certain amount of electricity, through your network, and if it doesn't bypass them, so if it isn't more than however much, so you can see here it says up to 3,000, if it doesn't go over, if you haven't got more than 3,000 stored, you won't get a ZIT. It will just blow your circuit breaker and you have to go and flip it back. So that's really cool, and it eliminates ZITs, which can be pretty dangerous in sort of if you have a poorly optimized network, which I almost always do. More furniture, we've had that before. ED embrasures, it's just embrasures you can fire through that provide the defense of sandbags but not being able to be walked over, which is always good. Hospitality, that's a familiar one. Now, these ones, VGP stands for Vegetable Garden Project, I believe. So, the Vegetable Garden mod that we used to use has actually been discontinued, and he's broken all the features up into individual parts and put them together into a what are they called? Well, it's like a playlist, but it's not. But like a big list that's called the Vegetable Garden Project. So these are exactly the same things that we had before, except now they're broken up into parts, so that if there's one we don't want, we can easily just, you know, switch it off so that we don't need it. Which I think is very, very good. If he can make it all work together, so that it all, you know, works properly and doesn't have any compatibility problems, then more power to him. So, efficient light, we've had that before, like fabrics, yeah, trees and flowers, yeah, more veggies, yeah, garden tools, medicine, resources, like, it's all the stuff you've seen before. Now, more trade ships. We always end up turning this on because it is just brilliant. If you want to expand, you really need the more trade ships. If you want to have good progress, I will say, more trade ships is amazing. Days Matter. Now, this is a sweet little mod. What this does is sort of tacks on to the whole party system that they added in Alpha 16, 17, somewhere around there. That, actually it wasn't 17, it was like 15 or 16, but anyway. And it adds, you can add special days. So say there was, I think the default one that it adds in at the start of the game is the day that your colony was founded. Or like the day you arrived. So every year when that day comes around, you can set them to have a party. So they'll stop what they're doing, they have a sweet party. It's got lots of options, so you can do like, you know, midnight. It does it in 8, like, it breaks up the day into 8 parts, I think. Or is it 16 parts? It might be 8. Because it's like midnight, midday, then halfway between those, so 6 AM, 6 PM. And then, yeah, it does like afternoon, dusk. You know, anyway, it lets you start the party at a lot of different times. And it's really cool, and you can add your own custom ones. So if there was some event that you want to remember, you can absolutely add a day in, and watch them celebrate it every year, and I think that's really cool. Animals Logic. Now, this is a really cool one that changes a lot of behavior for the animals, and adds a lot of extra features for the animals, which, you know, is quite nice. Things like being able to rename animals, awesome, should be in the base game. Tags a lot of stuff. It changes how a lot of the interfaces treat animals, and adds a lot of options for seeing your animals, which is really, really cool. Numbers, we've seen that before. Refugee stats, I believe we've used this before. It just tells you what the refugees are good at. So anytime it's like, this person is being chased by raiders from the... and they are, and it tells you what they're incapable of, what traits they have, what they're passionate for, so that you can make an informed decision. Now, this is a really cool one. So, at the moment, as of recording this, the old research screen mod that we used to use, organized research screen, I believe, he said, the mod creator has said he's not doing it anymore for the foreseeable future, and that we should use Research Pal because it is a better option. And honestly, I kind of agree. Research Pal, you'll see it in game, it's really hard to describe, but it makes a proper research tree. It's color-coded, it's very, very impressive, and we'll have a look at that when we get in the game. Work tab, so these are just the regular like tab improvements. It adds more options to the tabs. Very, very cool. Mad skills, a standard in my games. Prisoner harvesting, again another standard. The medical tab. Prepare carefully, which we probably won't use, but I always leave it on. Okay, while you're up, this is an excellent one. So what it does is it adds an extra level to their AI just before... So say you want them to go mine something, right? At the other end of the map. Now, in the vanilla game, what they would do is they would just keep mining and never haul it, right? That's kind of annoying because you end up with all this metal out in the middle of nowhere. Well, with While You're Up, what it does is, when they're finished there, so say they have to head back, as it says here, like, I'm heading back for some food, right? This is here. So if they have to go back and eat, it will calculate where their route is, and it checks to see if they go near the stockpile. And if it does, they pick up however much they can from the surrounding area and take it back to the stockpile. So it kind of adds a hauling task. At the start of every single job, it checks if there's any hauling nearby they can do that's along their path. And that is, excuse the language, fucking amazing. I cannot tell you how great that is. And you get so much more done. There's a little delay in the actual job they're trying to do, because obviously they go like off and do other things. They haul things off track a bit. But I don't know what the tolerance they've set is, the mod makers set, but it's good. They'll tend to only haul if they literally go like right next to a stockpile, which is perfectly fine. You don't want them always hauling, but you do want them hauling, otherwise you need someone with a dedicated hauling job. Like a hauling bot, but anyway. It's just great. I cannot tell you how awesome it is to have this on. Where's the gravel? Grayscale edition. So, gravel's kind of hard to tell because everything shades brown. This one just changes it to grey, which is very more gravel, and also is a lot more distinct. You can see the difference here. So that's really cool. I can fix it. So anything that gets destroyed, so say raiders come in, they throw grenades, blow up a door. Well, now with I can fix it, it automatically puts down a new blueprint for the door. So whatever was there before, it blueprints it. So you don't have to go back after the battle and check to see if everything's been rebuilt. Really, really cool, nice little quality of life improvement. And that's what a lot of these mods are. They're just quality of life improvements. They just make everything easier and more, like, make more sense. Allow tool. This is a very, very cool tool. You can do a lot of stuff like, the biggest thing you can do is there's one button under the orders tab, which will now say unforbid everything. So it just checks the map for anything forbidden and just blanket unforbids it. Amazing. So at the start, when it's like, you have to go and find your survival packs or whatever, survival rations, no, you just click the unforbid all button and they'll know where it is. Amazing. Hand me that brick, another excellent little quality of life improvement. Basically, if someone's assigned to hauling, they will now haul the materials to a building site, instead of the way it used to be, where a constructor would have to grab like a handful of the stuff, go over there, spread it to as much as they could, and then start building. Whereas now, most of the materials can be dumped there before they even get the job. So haulers will just go there first, chuck everything down, and the builder will come in and just construct it like they should. Really, really awesome. Really, really streamlined. Really, really good idea. Quality Builder. Now this is an excellent little tool, and it's a bit of a carryover from something like Dwarf Fortress. Can do it for sure. And that is, when you set a blueprint for a building, so say you set a blueprint for a bed, you don't want a crappy bed, because it gives you negative like mood, it does all sorts of bad shit. So instead, when you place down a blueprint for a bed, you can right click on this quality builder option that pops up, and you can say, okay, I only want this bed to be superior or better. And then when they construct the bed, if it's anything short of superior, they deconstruct it and it re-puts a blueprint down, and they'll just keep doing it until it gets better than superior. It's a good way to waste a lot of materials, but it's also a good way to get good quality beds, which do nothing but improve your colony. Okay, medical training, we know that one. It says it's out of date, but it still works. It's perfectly fine. Hasn't been updated since Alpha 10. Shocker. Quarry, again, we've used that before. Therapy, we've used that before. Colony Manager. Now this I don't think we've used before. It adds a new bench. It's called a managing desk, I think it is, which lets you automate some things. So things like, you can tell it to check how much wood's in your stockpile, and if it's under a certain threshold, it will automatically designate trees to be cut. Really, really cool. Same with hunting, same with foraging. Really, really awesome mod. Haven't used it as much as I should, but yeah, no, really cool. Shield generators. Now this is one I have not used in any of my playthroughs yet, but it seemed really cool. So you can create these shield generator buildings that block projectiles. They stop projectiles coming in, but they don't stop projectiles going out, and they require a lot of power. So the way it sort of works, and what I was reading, is it doesn't cost any power to run, but each hit, depending on the damage, sucks a certain amount of power. So you need to have it with access to enough power to block all the bullets. So if you have the downside to that, obviously, is that if someone fires at the shield, so say you have someone on the other team with an LMG, right? If they fire it at someone in the shield, without the shield, none of those may hit, because LMGs are pretty bad in terms of accuracy. But when it's the shield in the way, it absorbs all of the hits, regardless of whether they were going to actually hit their target. So it makes enemy automatic weapons a lot more dangerous, and enemy single-shot weapons a lot less dangerous. So there's a lot less chance of you just getting one hit killed by a sniper rifle. However, if the enemy brings lots of assault rifles and LMGs and micro pistols, micro Uzis, whatever they are, they will just shred your entire power supply, which is also bad. So it sounds really, really cool. in terms of how it reacts, it's kind of like the energy shields from Star Wars, if you've seen that. So you can walk through them, but it's the bullets that don't come in. So if they have enemy melee fighters, they can just walk straight through. It's not a problem for them. And that's really, really cool, really, really well balanced. I like it. So that's what we're going to use. It's going to be really cool. Basic bridges. Now, Bridge Yellow is the one I used to use, and at the moment it's not updated. But we do have basic bridges, which is mostly the same. It's got a couple of extra features which I was going to make use of, but not in this playthrough. I'm still trying to generate a good world for that. Area rugs, we've used that before. You know, really, really cool. Apparello. Now this adds a lot of clothing items that... It just adds a lot of variety in the clothing items. So you can have lots of varied looks, and adds lots of hats, adds lots of different armor types, lots of really, really cool stuff. So that's in now. Psychology. This is the one that wasn't updated, and we can't do it without it. The whole psyche that they have, the upgrades to social, I can't live without that. Mayorship we haven't dealt with yet, but we should this time, because that bug that was holding us back in the previous version is gone. Really, really cool. Sexuality and romance, take it or leave it. Mental illness and treatment is really cool. But yeah, so that's all the mods we're going to be using for this one. It's quite a list. I would 100% recommend checking the Steam Workshop. If you have this on Steam, which I believe you need to now, unless you've got a, we'll say, not as legit copy. In which case, I would say support the developer. Like, if you like the game and you can afford it, buy it. He's really active. He's really cool. Yeah, like, there's no reason not to buy this game if you enjoy it, unless you don't have enough money, in which case, I get it. So anyway, we'll start a new colony. Now, there's our mad scientist start from last time, but now I'm thinking, and bear with me here, Crash Landed is nice. 3 survivors, you know, decent everything. Rich Explorer is also good. It's a bit harder, but it's good. Now, Lost Tribe, though. You don't start with much, and because you start at a Neolithic level of technology, everything has a penalty. But you do start with 5 people, so you can get a lot of stuff done really quickly. And you know what? I think that's what we're going to do. I'm going to regret this. We are going to put this on... Now, last time we played on some challenge, we're going to play it on rough. But we might use Phoebe Chillax, which gives a lot of time between disasters, so you don't get as many raids. Sort of, you know, statistically, the longer you play it, you won't have as many raids as Cassandra Classic, because it gives you more time in between. However, that's not to say it's easier. They still hit just as hard as they do with Cassandra Classic. But the thing with that is, in some ways it's kind of worse. You'll end up with harder raids quicker, because the more time you have to build your base, the more wealth you can accrue, and therefore the harder the raid. So we're going to try this, but I think we're going to need the time between raids to do some research. So that's what we're going to do. What shall we call this? Let's call it classic Minecraft memes. We'll call it Gargamel. It's not really a meme. It's a good thing. Good world seed, and we'll just leave it on 30%. Normally I do 100, but 30% will be fine for this, I think. And you'll see here, like, the difference when it 30% to 100. So it literally, at 100%, it generates an entire globe. Right? At 30%, all it does is generate the face that is in front of you, and everything else is just ocean. So it makes everything a lot quicker. So you can see here, like, if I go, you know, over here, everything else is just ocean, right? Actually, I don't even think it's ocean. No, it's not. It's actually just not generated. Oh, that's very cool, but it looks like ocean. So you can see here, though, that it's still a pretty enormous world. Although it only has one, you know, Arctic, sea ice, not ice sheet. There's the ice sheet. But it's only got the one face, but it's still quite a big world full of stuff. It just means that when we click, like, the world button, it won't take 20 minutes for it to load up. So what is new in Beta 18? That is the important question. Well, if I can find it, we now have swamps that come in multiple varieties. I know there's temperate swamps and tropical swamps, of which I can't find. Oh, hang on. Is that one? Yeah, tropical swamp. I believe there is another kind of swamp, maybe like a brackish swamp or something. But I don't know where they live. Yeah, no, I don't know. I believe there is another type. There may only be two. I could be wrong. It might also depend on how cold your world is, for example. Right, well, we're tribals. So here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking rainforest. Probably not down here because it's literally on nothing and no one will come and talk to us. But if we can find a good rainforest... unless, of course, we just go temperate forest, because rainforests are a bit of a pain if you can't sort of find a good spot for them. Show me the terrain. Because that's temperate. Okay, that's rainforest. Is this rainforest? Yeah, so that is 2. Growing period is year-round, which is kind of cool. Average temperature is 31 degrees, which is a little bit on the hot side, but not unbearable. It's not going to be 31 degrees, though. Like, it gets up to 30... or 35, but we'll call it 36. Call it like it is. We could do a temperate swamp. I'm not attached to it. So, I'm thinking rainforest. It's going to be interesting for, you know, tribal level colonies to deal with malaria and lots of diseases all the time. It'll make it spicy. Growing period year round, gets up to 37. That might be a little bit warm. How about that? Gets up to 33? No, gets up to 36. Well, 30, cool, 37. So how cold does it get in this rainforest? Okay, so it only goes down to 35. That is hot. Ooh, I don't really like any of these points. I don't like this world generation, to be honest. We could abandon it and generate another one, but it doesn't really matter that much. Yeah, I will say, not a great big fan of how it's kind of all... Oh, wait, that's tropical rainforest as well. Ooh, it's a bit out of the way. It's a bit out of the way. It's a bit lame. Yeah, I don't love that it's like 90% temperate forest. I know that's kind of the point, and that's how most worlds generate, but usually there's a lot more variance sort of in where it touches. Like, this just goes straight from temperate forest to desert. That's pretty bad. Obviously there's not enough rainfall around here. Extreme desert. Yeah, we're not going to touch that. Now, I like down here, near Katsumi's Fault Bay, which is another feature they added in Beta 18, which you can see here, right? They added sort of names for areas. Doesn't really do anything, but it's very, very cool. It's the first step into creating an actual sort of living, breathing, awesome world. So we might set up near Lawyer's Cliff here, just because it'll give us a really quick way to transport. In fact, can we go here? What's this look like? 35, so about 36, average 32, winter 28. I actually like it. Large hills, because that's movement time 7.8 hours, but this will be, yeah, 1, because it's an ancient asphalt road. So if we need to travel to the city over here, we can, or the village, we can just go straight up here. And that will be really, really cool. And there's also the island down there, the pirate thing. I like this. I like this a lot. And I like it so much, I think I'm going to keep it. What are our factions? Okay, so we're hostile with another tribe. I think that's standard. Can't exactly remember. Anyway. Tropical rainforest, a thick, moist jungle. Despite its visual beauty, this is a very dangerous biome. Choking overgrowth, aggressive animals, and constant diseases are why some explorers call this the Green Hell. So you can see here, now there is, I don't know if it was always there, but it definitely is now, that there is an average disease frequency. So we average out 2 diseases a year. So every year we're going to have 2 outbreaks of malaria or the flu or the plague or something like that. So you can see the sort of drier it is, the less you have. So there's 1.3. They're just standard at the moment. You know, there isn't a particular region that has more diseases than another for whatever reason. It's just tied into what the biome is. So 2 diseases a year. That's going to be a big deal for our little tribals, but nonetheless, that's what we're going to do. Now, you can see here that by default, tribals can start with malnutrition. Now, that's not a big deal because you get food at the start, so yeah, whoop-de-doo. But it is an interesting thing. So you can't get crypto sleep sickness. So that's very cool. And now you can see that they've got these here. So now you pick from a certain number. So we have 5. We pick 5, but we generate 8. Because these ones might appear later on. Which I think is really cool. So they can end up with relationships with the ones that you've actually picked. Now, let's see what we can do here. Incapable of caring. Not opposed to it. Neurotic, polyamorous. Trosma doesn't see any problem with having multiple partners. She doesn't mind if her partner romances other people, but will not be happy in a monogamous relationship. I don't like you anyway because of neurotic, so we're going to randomize you. Yeah, maybe not. Incapable of social. Incapable of none. Socialite and steadfast. You know what? That's good. She's 38. Right little toes lost to frostbite. A scratch on the right arm. That's fine. Oh, and check this out. So now we have team skills. So it will show you the highest skill on your team, whether they have a passion for it, and who it is if you hover over it. Isn't that awesome? Oh, so many good features. This was just in beta 18, this new screen. Tynan, man, you are a genius when it comes to UI design. Jealous, iron-willed, and abrasive. Iron-willed would be good. Jealous is kind of going to counteract iron-willed, and abrasive is going to make everyone else hate you, so maybe not. Nervous, yeah, I don't want anyone in these first 5 to have a negative modifier by default. So, like, nudist won't do. Psychopath, fast learner, can't clean, haul, or plant work. You do have a passion for murdering, though. We might keep you. Yeah, you know what? We're going to keep you. Yeah, you got a tobacco addiction, which sucks, which we might try and break. We know how well that goes. But yeah, I like it. A bush sniper. What is that? Sam's peaceful life was cut short when her country was brutally invaded. Sam was drafted into service as soon as she was of legal age and quickly showed an aptitude for rifles. She spent months living in the forest, picking off soldiers who dared cross the border. Interesting. You are 46. Nah, I'm not a fan. Cross the file, psychically dull, and greedy. What's with all these people wanting really impressive bedrooms? I don't think that's an option. Teetotaler gourmet prostaphobe. Malnutrition, some old gunshots and stab wounds. I don't mind that. I think that'll be okay. Orange, yeah, we don't want someone that's that sort of incapable. Because there's plenty of game for you to recruit people that aren't the best, right? You want your first ones, your first 3 if you're doing a Crash Lander start, or first 5 if you're doing a Tribal start, or you definitely want that one you get with the rich person start to be good. You want them good at everything. Because these guys are hopefully going to be the ones that stick around the most. We have a lot of 50-year-olds. Can I get some young people? 28, there we go. Heavy sleeper, green thumb, looks good, has anxiety, we'll treat it. We'll treat it, it'll be fine. Melee, crafting, yeah, alright. We don't have medicine, construction, or mining passion. And actually, that could be a problem. We definitely want medicine. Construction. Ooh, actually, we kind of want a construction one. There we go, construction and growing. Optimus, gourmet. You're frail, but we'll just have to deal with that. Because what are you? Okay, shooting, social, medicine, construction, crafting. You won't be on the front line that much. That'll be okay. Oh, wow. Actually, you're 81. No, 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 no. Okay, so that's medicine covered. Green Thumb, too smart. Too smart sucks. Ugh. So actually, hang on. Who's got medicine? The only complaint I have with this is it only shows who's the best. It doesn't show passion. So if we have someone with passion for construction, I don't care if they're lower, but we don't actually have someone with passion. Brawler, nimble. Lazy, heavy sleeper, misandrist. Really dislikes and distrusts men. Fun. Okay, so we now have a construction focus. Definitely have a mining focus. I like him. He's lazy, which sucks, but eh. Okay, so now we just need someone to round everything out. Desensitized. Seen enough violence, death, and no longer shocks him. Ooh. Lecher. Unabashedly lecherous and a thoughtless heartbreaker. He will hit on anyone he desires with no regard for the consequences. Ooh. You're going to cause a problem. And I like it. So we got a 43-year-old, 47, 54, 39, and 38. Why are they all so old? Alright, and for the three we leave behind, I'm going to try and generate until we get a relationship. I won't spend too long on it though. Okay, next one. There we go. Sister, done. How old are you? 20. 20! Nice. Very nice. Because it keeps it exciting if they have a relationship with the people that were left behind. Okay, too long on that one. Let's go back to this guy. If not, let's find someone with decent traits. Or maybe someone young. Let's find someone young. 16. Optimist, Slowpoke, sounds great. 32. Pessimist, Lecher. 23. Incapable of mining. Chemical interest, outdoorsy. I like it. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. So, at the moment we have chicken. Orange chicken. Isn't that a Chinese dish? Pretty sure that's a Chinese dish. Nice. Val. We have Bren, Kuro, and Toad. Now, I won't be doing subscriber names in this one, just because, quite frankly, I don't have enough subscribers, and I think we're going to have a lot of people, so that'll be fine. We do have someone with passion for construction, right? They're just not high? Yeah, so Kuro has passion for constructing, which is perfectly fine. So let's get in there. Let's get into it. As soon as this generates and we spawn in, that's going to be the end of episode 0. Interesting. That's very cool. So you can read that. Pause it if you want. I'm just going to skip it. The gods... So this is our scenario thing. The gods were very angry. The blood machines came at night. They swept through your village, cutting and burning your people with their blades and devil fire. Only a few of you escaped. Now, after a harrowing journey on foot, with no close friends to turn to, you must build a new home in the wilderness, like your ancestors did. Very cool. I love the description. I love the way that's sort of phrased. It's so cool. Let's have a look at our map. Not a lot of good places to set up, but honestly, where we've set up, I think, is pretty alright. We got an entrance here. This will be a problem, but we'll set up turrets on here. We can close this off. We can just wall it off, have this as an entrance. Yeah, I like it. But anyway, so thank you very much, everyone, for watching episode 0. If you like this video, make sure you hit that like button, so I know whether you want sort of this kind of setup where I have an initial setup episode and then an actual episode. If you want to see more content from me, the Aussie Nerd, make sure you subscribe to my channel. If you think you know any friends that might enjoy my content, make sure you share a video or two with them. I really appreciate it. And finally, if you want to leave any hints, tips, tricks, ideas for our colony, feedback, or you just want to say hi, make sure you do so in the comments section down below so I can see it. And I will see all of you guys in the next episode. Goodbye.